G'day, I'm James.
G'day, I'm Mulch Fencing.
So what we're here to do today is film a gully crossing. We've been working on a laneway complex for this client for a couple of weeks now, and one of the final parts is fencing across this nice little dry gully. So we're going to do a couple of different techniques. We're going to use the air hammer and various different construction techniques. We'll show you how to do it with 2 people, how to do it with 1 person, and have a bit of fun along the way. As the water comes down, the water's only applying pressure from one side, so the upstream side will have the blades of the post pointing up the stream, and we'll do that down here as well using 180 centimeter Geo Maxis on this job. So we're going to have one on the sort of the peaks of each hill, and that will absorb the tension and the pull down to stop the posts from sinking. Then we'll use a couple of normal geo posts as it goes down the sides of the bank. Then we'll have a maxi post towards the bottom where the ground changes direction again. In the very bottom, we're just going to have a normal geo post, and we may have to actually cut it off because the ground is very rocky down there. Still going to need a pin down because it's going to pull up, stop it from flying up in the air. Once that's posted, we'll run out our plain wires and our barbs, and the plain wires are easy because they're going to be through the holes in the posts, and we'll show you the techniques of how to strain the barb through the bottom without it going way up into the trees and talking to cockatoos. So because this is a really short section, we're going to tie tails on the posts and adjust the tension with gripples. Generally any fence under 100 meters we'll do that with, particularly because it's a gully. And Dave's going to run out our sight barb across the line. Righto, so Dave has marked out the line. We've got some blue paint there. Because it's only a short section, we've marked it out nice and accurately, and we're just about to set our line. Now, as you can see, it doesn't take much force at all to pull this up way out of the bottom. So we're pretty much just going to dangle it. So I've got the tail here and our wire strainer. So what we'll do is we'll put a little bit of strain on it, and then we'll pin it down in the gully so it stays there. So we need it to be nice and straight.
And that'll be right there.
Cool. So we'll leave the strainers sitting here for now, and we'll go and plant some post seeds.
Yeah.
Good little gadget, this air hammer guide, because it lets us go from the maxi posts to the normal star posts without changing or any drive heads. All we have to do is just drop it onto the post, drive away, up periscope. How good's that? Out that next wire I'm going to strain, and now we're just going to poke the wire through the gripple, and we're going to pull the wire back towards the strainer post. An important thing when you're using gripple strainers, is a really good tip, is you want to keep the strainer head at right angles to the wire at all times, and that way it doesn't rip the coating off. When we've got it nice and tight, flick this off. We're going to cut our tail so it tucks in neatly against the strainer post, and we're going to finish the knot off and make it just look even and professional. So we're going to use a slightly different technique for tightening this second barb. So Dave's positioned at the far end there, and he'll sing out what tension I need to apply to the strainers at each post. So the first one should be pretty right, and then I'm going to have to back it off a bunch to get down to the next one.
Yeah. Got it.
And then all Dave has to do is move down to the next post once he's tied that. So this next one I'll start backing it off as he walks down into the gully. One more.
No, that'll be alright there.
There's a few pros and cons to doing this. So I'm needing to adjust this while Dave is working down there. If you were doing it by yourself, there was some other tricks and tips which we'll show you shortly. But this does work well if you've got two people. A little bit less, Jimmy. And click. So what we're going to do now is a cool trick for how to adjust the strain through a gully by yourself if you haven't got a second person. All you need is a couple of hook gate latches, and we'll show you how this works. So our top barb is going to be here, and we want the barb to travel through the hook at that position. So we find out where we want to tie it onto the post, which will be just here. And grab a little bit of tie wire. And now the barb can travel through that gate loop at this height. So this is number 2, just repeating the exact same technique. We'll find out where it's going to attach onto the post. Alright, now our third and final one. Just once again check the chain's the same length. As we go back down the gully, we're just going to hook the chains on. Just have to hook it on like that. The barb should travel through there just nicely.
Jimmy's going to start straining. While he's doing that, we'll see it's going to start raising up. The barb's not going to get caught on the latch because the latch is round, so it'll just pass through. As you can see, this one here is at the right height already. Same with the one behind me. We'll just move up to the next one and we'll have a look at it. Now we've come from the bottom one, we're on to the next highest, and as you can see, it's slowly coming up to height. So we're up to the high points. So the reason we've put it in the top slot is because we aren't able to use the chain. We've got nowhere to tie it to, and it wants to sit lower than it is. With the top slot, we're just making sure that the barbs don't pull on the post. So I'll pull it out of the top slot and tie it on the side of the post into the hole. And the reason we've tied on the side of the post, a good example is up above this post there's a tree, which is obviously seen better days. If we left it in the top slot and that tree fell on it, it would snap the wire in half. So by tying it on the side, all that's going to break is the tie. So as you can see, chain worked a treat. Got it at the perfect height. What I'll do now is tie it off and then just cut this tie. Lunchtime.
So we're all finished with this gully crossing for today. We've shown a few different ways to do it. The client in this case specified they wanted an actual fence built through the gully, but there's many different ways that you can do it. So we're going to head off and do the other side of this gully now. It'll be basically the same technique. Like and subscribe for great content like this.
Oh. G'day, I'm Shminky and I'm Shminky.
G'day, I'm Pappy. Oh, that's what they call me in the shed.
Shmish.
Enough. Tightening the start again. Another benefit for you. Try again.
Wait, so yeah. No. That didn't make sense.
Yeah.